American companies that make stuff have to compete with foreign companies that make the same stuff, such as sugar, cars, lumber, or steel. Those foreign producers often have lower costs, and so in an effort to protect US producers, our government often institutes protectionist policies, such as quotas or tariffs. But as always, when government picks winners, it also creates losers, and plenty of those victims are right here in America. The most obvious victim of protectionism is the US consumer who pays higher prices for the things she buys. The federal sugar program, for instance, places quotas on how much sugar Americans can import without facing a high tariff. The quota reduces the supply of sugar, thus increasing the price of sugar. That's why sugar prices in the US are constantly higher than the prices in the rest of the world. Sometimes they are 2 or 3 times the world price. If Americans import too much sugar, our government slaps a tariff on the excess. This cost largely gets passed on to the consumer. Politicians will say that jobs in the sugar industry are worth you paying a bit more for a bag of sugar.
In Deep South Texas, we're proud of our sugar corporation, our sugar mill, and the jobs they support. Our existing sugar policy levels the playing field for American producers in the ever-volatile world of the sugar market.
But protectionism has costs that we don't always see. While the US imports more than $2 billion in goods each year, only about half of that are what we call final goods. The sort of thing you and I might buy at a store, such as sneakers or a car. The other half are inputs. These include capital equipment and intermediate goods. For instance, raw sugar imports are an input into the final good, which is candy.
Here at Enstrom Candies, sugar is very important to us. It's one of our main ingredients. Without it, we'd really seriously be out of luck.
I was able to put 3 kids through college because of the job I have with Enstrom's. To ever lose this company, I just can't even imagine.
Be working somewhere for 8 years and then going and trying to find another job. My family would be in big trouble.
It's still a frustration to us that we pay twice the price for sugar in the United States as the rest of the world pays.
The world price for raw sugar is less than 12 cents a pound. Thanks to protectionism, the US price is more than 26 cents a pound. That makes it hard for Enstrom Candies to make a profit. This is why in 2003, our sugar quotas helped drive a Lifesavers plant out of Holland, Michigan into Canada, where sugar would be cheaper. A candy maker can try to raise its prices, which would in turn affect American grocers, ice cream parlors, and their customers. But because so many candy bars are made overseas, a price hike might not be possible.
It affects mom and pop companies like us that can't afford to go abroad to create the candy.
That's why, in order to stay in business, Lifesavers had to move to Canada, which wasn't good for the people of Holland, Michigan.
The Holland Lifesavers plant was very important to the community. The day they announced that closing, I was in my office. They basically told us that it was too costly to continue operations at the Lifesavers plant in Holland due to sugar prices. Well, first of all, it was a complete blindside. Nobody had any clue whatsoever. We were all out of a job. All these families were just out of jobs. And I really didn't know what I was going to do. I was scared.
So these quotas and tariffs that are supposed to protect American jobs in one industry end up costing jobs in another. The same thing happens in every industry.
Today's action sends a clear message that this president and our entire administration are determined to put American jobs and American workers first.
But those steel and aluminum tariffs raise costs on US manufacturers who use steel and aluminum. Again, all of these costs get passed along to the consumer. Paying more for her car, her sugar, her can of soup, she has less left over for other expenses, which creates another hidden victim of protectionism: the businesses where she can't spend money. Finally, protectionism makes a victim of the whole US economy. When quotas or tariffs make foreign goods unaffordable, Americans need to start producing those goods ourselves. That takes up resources, such as money, land, and labor, that would be better allocated to other purposes. In the case of sugar, protectionism turned swaths of the unique and irreplaceable Everglades into agricultural land, requiring massive fertilizer use and, in turn, causing damaging runoff. So of course government can help some domestic producers through protectionism, but it hurts everyone else, including consumers, the producers who use those imports, unrelated businesses that suffer when consumers have less money, and the US economy as a whole. Every time government picks a winner, it also creates losers. These are the victims of cronyism.